have you ever wondered what would happen if every breathing style became a blood demon art? Well, to make things interesting, I did my research and came up with a blood demon art version for each breathing style. And let me tell you, things are about to get seriously dangerous. I'll start with the breathing style debated to be the weakest and end the video with what I believe will be the version of a sun-breathing blood demon art, so you'll want to stick around. Also, I won't be covering the moon or thunder breathing because we already know how the versions of their blood demon art look like. Let's kick things off with the breathing style created by Shinobu Kocho, the butterfly-loving beauty who's often debated as the weakest among the Hashiras. But hey, don't let that fool you, because she's also hailed as one of the smartest Hashira. So, what if Shinobu's insect breathing style turned into a blood demon art? Brace yourself because it's about to get intense. The user will acquire the ability to summon insect-like abominations similar to the formidable Upper Moon 5 Gyoko. However, the creations will take the form of highly dangerous insect monsters, capable of inflicting venomous attacks on enemies. Except, in the user's case, their blood demon art would take things up a notch in terms of speed and agility, and attacks would become lightning fast, leaving opponents in awe and struggling to keep up. That's not all. Since Shinobu is the insect pillar, her blood demon art would naturally enhance the toxicity of her weapon, enabling her attacks to be infused with venom, causing prolonged damage to her foes. That means the user's opponents wouldn't just suffer from an immediate strike, but also face a gradual weakening over time. Talk about a slow and painful death. Next, it's sound breathing. And when it comes to sound breathing, it's even more intense. For example, the only user of sound breathing, Tengen Uzui, is all about incredible hearing and sound-based skills. So you can bet that merging it with blood demon art would crank those abilities up to 11. One possible blood demon art the user could utilize is sound wave destruction. With this skill, the user could create devastating sound waves capable of shattering bones and obliterating objects in their path. Imagine the user unleashing a deafening sonic boom that could send its enemies flying and reduce structures to rubble. It would be an absolute force to be reckoned with. Here's another cool move the user could rock with his blood demon art: illusionary sound. He'd crank up the volume with the user's voice, and bam! The enemies would be tripping out big time. They'd be seeing things that aren't even real, hearing sounds that scramble their brains. It's like a wild ride straight into a twisted funhouse for their minds. Total mind trip, right? And as deadly as it gets, we can't forget the breathing style created by Inosuke with his animal instincts. If beast breathing converts into a blood demon art, it'll help the user replace its required limbs with animal limbs, but make it 10 times more powerful. This could include growing claws, fangs, or even sprouting wings for enhanced mobility and devastating attacks. Buckle up, folks, because this is going to be one heck of a wild ride. As the user reaches his breaking point, his blood demon art has the potential to unleash a berserker state, intensifying the situation to new heights. In this state, the user's strength and speed would increase exponentially, turning him into an unstoppable force of destruction. Anything and anyone unlucky enough to stand in his way would be torn to shreds. But hey, let's not forget about the flip side. This blood demon art is all about beefing up physical abilities and giving some seriously transformed limbs, but it lacks defensive techniques and long-range attacks. The user will still be vulnerable to traditional demon slaying techniques and opponents who can exploit transformed limbs or bypass enhanced attributes. So while he's a powerhouse, he's not invincible. Let's shift our attention to another intriguing breathing style called love breathing, made by the second female Hashira Mitsuri Kanroji, and its possible blood demon art transformation. We all know that Mitsuri uses her whip-like sword to unleash her love breathing, and it's all about agility and sweeping movements. So, a cool version of a blood demon art will be that the user can create dozens of sharp whips from his body, sending them to all directions, similar to what Muzan can do. Another cool version of it could be that a few whips can be used to trap enemies, and the others could be used to cut them and inflict damage. Love breathing is a direct derivative of flame breathing, and let me tell you, if you thought love breathing as a demon art was cool, wait to see what flame breathing looks like in a blood demon art. Upon activating the blood demon art, the user would undergo a transformation, adopting an even more imposing and fearsome appearance. The user's body would radiate intense heat, and their eyes might glow with a fiery hue, like a demon from hell. Moreover, the aura flames would be larger, hotter, and more powerful than ever, capable of incinerating anything they come into contact with. Flame-breathing blood demon art will be able to create flame blades and melt even steel. Terrifying, but fortunately, flame-breathing blood demon arts would be vulnerable to water-breathing and other anti-demon attacks. Contact with large amounts of water or immersion could weaken or suppress its flames, temporarily reducing offensive capabilities. With that in mind, let's get to another intriguing combination: flower breathing. This style takes a back seat as it's derived from water breathing, but it leaves a subtle mark as a blood demon art. First off, the user of the blood demon art becomes even more deadly, as they would be able to summon and manipulate these wickedly sharp petals made from their own blood. As the user swings their sword, these petals fly around, slicing through anything in their path. It's like the Demon Slayer version of Byakuya Kuchiki's Bankai from Bleach. However, this blood demon art technique isn't just about slicing and dicing, as one of its signature moves, Blood Petal Slicer, enables the user to launch a flurry of these demonic petals at opponents, cutting through their defenses like a hot knife through butter. Moving forward, let's explore the Serpent Breathing style created by Obanai Iguro, the enigmatic Hashira in the anime, who has a snake chilling on his shoulder and strikingly different eye colors. Certainly, if this breathing style gets converted to a blood demon art, it will be disastrous. So let's start with my favorite blood demon art, Mesmerizing Gaze, that would allow the user to have a captivating yet deadly technique. Upon locking eyes with the opponent, the user can freeze them, leaving them defenseless for their next move. Additionally, there is another powerful ability known as Binding Serpent, which enables the user to conjure a colossal ethereal blood serpent that ensnares foes, effectively limiting their mobility. As they struggle against its constricting grip, their vitality gradually diminishes, weakening them further. The user's Binding Serpent move is no joke. It's got some serious power. But here's the deal. The user's gotta stay super focused to keep it going, because a slight miscalculation would lead to unbinding. Next, we have Water Breathing style. One of its users, Giyu Tomioka, developed the 11th form of water breathing. So let's see what kind of blood demon art this breathing style would become. With a blood demon art technique at their disposal, its user will have some insane tricks up their sleeve, as they'll be able to use the water breathing style, but with a more terrifying version, like trapping foes into water prison pots, just like Gyoko, to kill them with suffocation. The user would also be able to manipulate water at extreme levels and launch water cannons at high speed towards its foes that are strong enough to pierce through a person. However, the user would struggle against long-range techniques from multiple foes simultaneously. Handling projectiles coming from different directions would be a challenge. With that in mind, let's move forward to Muichiro Tokido's breathing style, the descendant of Kokushibo. Mist breathing is created from wind breathing, so let's check out the possible blood demon art techniques of it, cause it's gonna be epic. With techniques like illusionary mist, the user can create a misty aura around his target, making them trip out big time. They'll start seeing things that aren't real, like a wild ride into a twisted funhouse for their minds. It's a total mind trip, you know? Another blood demon art the user would have is the ability to spread poisonous mist around and trap his enemies inside it until they, well, die. Now it's time to delve into wind breathing techniques turned into blood demon arts, which only signifies a single outcome: utter chaos. The user would harness demonic energy and imbue it into his sword strikes, creating devastating shockwaves. These waves are filled with razor-sharp winds that slice through adversaries. And the inclusion of infused blood adds a corrosive and lethal element. However, the deadliest technique would be the Bloodstorm Cyclone. By harnessing the user's demonic energy and using blood as a catalyst, they can conjure a fierce vortex of winds which would envelop foes, tearing them apart with a deadly mix of cutting gusts and blood-infused projectiles. With this technique, the user can demonstrate remarkable mastery over both wind breathing and blood demon art, making it a perfect choice for swiftly dealing with multiple adversaries. But all these dangerous attacks come with a big price. As the user unleashes the Bloodstorm Cyclone, he needs a brief moment to prepare for another attack. This pause can actually work in enemies' favor, giving them an opportunity to counter. Moreover, the user can't sustain the Bloodstorm Cyclone for an extended period. If the enemy manages to survive the limited time within the Cyclone, it won't be a walk in the park for the user to face them. Now, let's shift our focus to the incredible Stone Breathing style into Blood Demon Art. With Stone Breathing turned into a Blood Demon Art, the user would gain the ability to summon and control stones with astonishing speed. The user can manipulate them according to his will, even forming a defensive stone armor around their body for protection. Additionally, the user can summon mighty stone monsters that wreak havoc upon his enemies, leaving devastation in their wake. However, despite the unrivaled strength of this Blood Demon Art, the user may struggle when facing multiple agile and powerful opponents. Enemies could easily evade attacks and overwhelm the user by striking together. Finally, we have the Sun Breathing technique as a Blood Demon Art. Every single breathing style is derived from sun breathing and created by none other than Yoriichi. This Blood Demon Art would enable its users to possess the ability to manipulate their own blood infused with solar energy. The user would be able to shape their blood into weapons, shields, or projectiles, enhancing their combat prowess. The fusion of Sun Breathing and Blood Demon Art might grant its user the power to harness the energy of the sun itself. They could unleash blinding solar flares, blinding or just burning them on the spot. Another cool thing about Sun Breathing as a Blood Demon Art, it's the only one that can actually affect demons, making them unable to regenerate and even killing them. Each blow from this Blood Demon Art will send a wave of destruction that's almost unstoppable. That's it for this video. If you liked it, please check out our other What If videos, and I'll see you in the next one.